Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare 1-cent coins, cause some of these coins are rare among collectors and are worth millions. So today, we are gonna uncover the rarest coins and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we're diving deep into a coin that many people have overlooked. But if you happen to find the right one, it could change your life. We're talking about a simple, humble piece of copper, the 1961 United States 1-cent coin. That's right, just a penny. But don't be fooled by its small size or face value. This coin has stories to tell, secrets to reveal, and, in some rare cases, it could be worth a jaw-dropping fortune. So sit back, relax, and pay close attention. You might just discover that a forgotten coin in your pocket or jar could be a golden ticket in disguise. Let's begin by taking a look at the time in which this coin was minted. The year was 1961, a year of American optimism and transformation. John F. Kennedy had just taken office as President of the United States. The country was buzzing with the excitement of the space race. The civil rights movement was gaining momentum, and Americans were dreaming big. During this time, the U.S. Mint continued producing the classic Lincoln cent, a coin that had already been in circulation for over 50 years since its debut in 1909. The 1961 penny may look like just another Lincoln cent at first glance. On the front, or obverse, you see the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln, facing right, with the words, "In God We Trust," above his head, "Liberty" to his left, and the year 1961 to the right. Flip the coin over, and you'll see the classic wheat ears design, also known as the wheat reverse, which was used until 1958. Oh, wait, not in 1961. The reverse of the 1961 cent actually shows the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday. The design change made this penny a bit more modern, but what lies beneath its surface is what truly captivates collectors. Now, let's get into the good stuff. Why would a simple 1961 Lincoln Memorial penny be considered rare or valuable? The answer lies in the imperfections. Yes, that's right, mistakes made during the minting process are what make some of these coins worth far more than 1 cent. These mint errors turn ordinary coins into collector's gold. So what kind of errors are we talking about? One of the most sought-after errors is the double die. This happens when the coin is struck by a die that has been improperly engraved twice, causing elements of the design, like the date, lettering, or Lincoln's features, to appear slightly doubled. On a 1961 cent, a double die error can be especially striking and dramatically increases the coin's value. Another error that gets collectors excited is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin isn't aligned properly during minting and ends up with part of the design missing, shifted, or off balance. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin can be. Let's not forget about repunched mint marks. On coins that bear the D mint mark for Denver, there are some rare cases where the mint mark appears to be stamped more than once, resulting in a slight shadow effect. These are known as RPMs, repunched mint marks, and they're hot items in the collector community. There are even some ultra-rare varieties that show planchet errors, where the coin is struck on the wrong metal blank or a transitional error, which occurs when leftover planchets from a different year are used. These are the types of mistakes that are so rare, they can drive the value of a coin sky high. But even beyond errors, condition matters a lot. Coins that have never been used, never touched by oily fingers, and kept in mint condition are classified as uncirculated or mint state coins. The higher the grade, based on a scale from 1 to 70, the more valuable the coin. A 1961 penny that is in brilliant, uncirculated condition with no scratches, no discoloration, and full detail can already fetch a tidy sum. Combine that with a rare minting error, and now you're looking at serious money. What makes the 1961 Lincoln penny particularly attractive to collectors is that it's old enough to have potential mint errors, but new enough that many of these coins are still out there in coin jars, in dusty drawers, or hidden away in family collections. It's the perfect mix of nostalgia, historical value, and treasure hunt excitement. And let's be honest, there's nothing more thrilling to a coin lover than discovering a rare piece hiding in plain sight. So, what is the true value of a rare 1961 1-cent coin? If you have a standard, circulated version of the coin, it might not bring much more than its face value. But if you happen to come across a flawless specimen with a dramatic mint error, the price can skyrocket. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the big reveal. The highest reported value for an ultra-rare 1961 United States 1-cent coin, featuring a stunning mint error in pristine condition, is a staggering $79,000. Yes, you heard that right. A simple penny, worth 1 cent when it was made, can be worth $79,000 today. That's the magic of coin collecting. That's the thrill of the hunt. And that's why you should always check your change, dig through those old piggy banks, and take a second look at that jar of pennies on the shelf. Top 2, we're unlocking the secrets of a seemingly ordinary coin that could be anything but the 1967 United States 1-cent coin. That's right, a penny. Just a copper coin to most people. But to a true collector, it could be a hidden gem worth thousands. You might be thinking, how can a coin from 1967, something millions of people used for candy, parking meters, or a soda back then, be valuable today? The answer lies in a fascinating mix of history, rarity, minting quirks, and of course, the right eye to spot it. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this little coin is turning heads in the collecting world, and how it might just be worth an incredible sum of money if you have the right one. Let's set the stage. The year was 1967. The Vietnam War was raging, the summer of love was beginning to bloom, and America was deep in cultural and political transformation. Amid all of that, the U.S. Mint continued to strike coins for everyday use. Millions of 1967 Lincoln cents were produced, but not all of them were created equal. Now, here's something fascinating. 1967 was a transitional year for coin production in the United States. Because of a coin shortage in the mid-1960s, the U.S. Mint made some key changes that directly affect how 1967 coins are viewed today. For example, in an effort to speed up production, the Mint temporarily suspended the use of mint marks. That's right, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, and no P for Philadelphia. Every coin looked the same, regardless of where it was made. This detail is hugely important to collectors because it makes pinpointing the origin of a coin more difficult, and it adds an extra layer of intrigue to each one. But what really makes a 1967 penny valuable comes down to two things: condition and errors. Let's talk condition first. The 1967 penny was struck in copper with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. That means these coins are highly reactive to the environment. Most 1967 pennies you find today are scratched, darkened, or worn down from decades of use. But every so often, someone stumbles upon a brilliant uncirculated 1967 penny, a coin that has been preserved almost perfectly for more than half a century. These are rare. And when one shows up, especially with a high mint state grade, like MS66 or MS67, it immediately grabs the attention of collectors and auction houses. Now, let's get into the really exciting part: mint errors. These are what turn a 1-cent coin into a potential jackpot. And 1967 is a year full of minting mysteries. One of the most valuable types of error is the double die. This happens when a coin is struck twice by a misaligned die, creating a shadow or ghosting effect on the lettering or Lincoln's features. If you ever find a 1967 penny where the word Liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," or even the date looks slightly doubled, don't ignore it. That could be a high-value error worth serious money. Another error to look out for is the off-center strike. Imagine Lincoln's head pushed far to one side, or even partially missing from the coin. These types of minting mistakes are rare and instantly noticeable. The more extreme the off-center alignment, the more valuable the coin becomes. There's also what collectors call broad strikes, when a coin is struck without the retaining collar in place, causing it to spread out and lose its clean, circular edge. It creates a warped and dramatic look, and it's highly collectible. And for the most eagle-eyed collectors, die cracks and cuds are also worth hunting. These happen when the minting die starts to break or wear out, leaving raised lines or blobs on the coin. These flaws, though tiny, can turn a regular penny into a sought-after rarity, especially when combined with pristine condition. Let's not forget the transitional planchet errors, either. Although extremely rare, a few 1967 pennies have reportedly been struck on leftover blanks from earlier years, or even on the wrong type of metal. Imagine finding a copper penny that was actually struck on a dime blank. It's these one-in-a-million types of coins that drive collectors wild and auction prices even higher. And here's what's so thrilling: these coins aren't locked away in museums or elite vaults. They're out there scattered in jars, drawers, old collections, forgotten boxes in your grandparents' attic. maybe even hiding in plain sight inside your piggy bank. Every 1967 penny you come across could be a ticket to something extraordinary. So, how much could one of these rare 1967 1-cent coins actually be worth? Well, for a regular 1967 penny in worn condition, it might only bring you a few cents more than face value. But if you have one that's uncirculated, with high-grade luster and a certified mint error, especially a dramatic double die or off-center strike, then you're sitting on a serious collectible. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. One of the most valuable 1967 Lincoln pennies ever recorded, featuring a rare mint error and in flawless condition, was sold for a breathtaking total of $77,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, just 1 cent, valued at $77,000. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's history in your hand, and sometimes it's a hidden fortune. So don't overlook the little things, especially not a 1967 penny. Inspect every detail, every letter, every line, because you never know what that old copper coin might really be worth. Top 3, we're diving into a coin that you've probably seen hundreds of times without even thinking twice about it. The 1971 United States 1-cent coin. Yes, the humble penny. The kind you might find at the bottom of your pocket, tucked in an old piggy bank, or lying forgotten in a kitchen drawer. But don't let its common appearance fool you. Because in the world of rare and valuable coins, the 1971 penny holds a few incredible secrets that, when discovered, could turn this everyday coin into a true collector's prize. So keep watching, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what makes some 1971 pennies incredibly rare and why one of them sold for a life-changing amount of money. Let's take a step back into the early 1970s. It was a time of change in America. The Vietnam War was still ongoing. The space race had reached new heights just 2 years earlier with the moon landing, and pop culture was exploding with music, rebellion, and innovation. Against this backdrop, the U.S. Mint continued producing the iconic Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909. The obverse featured the classic bust of Abraham Lincoln, and the reverse displayed the Lincoln Memorial, both powerful symbols of American heritage. The 1971 penny, made primarily of copper with a small percentage of zinc, might seem like just another coin in circulation. In fact, hundreds of millions were minted that year. But here's where things get interesting. Not all 1971 pennies are created equal. Among the ocean of copper coins from that year, there are a few that are special, and in the world of coin collecting, special means valuable. What makes a 1971 penny valuable? It comes down to 3 key things: condition, mint mark, and most importantly, minting errors. Let's start with condition. A 1971 penny that has been circulated, tossed around in wallets, change jars, and vending machines is worth, well, about a penny. But a 1971 penny that's been preserved, untouched, uncirculated, and still shines with its original mint luster? That's a completely different story. Coins graded at MS65 or higher, that's mint state condition, are far more desirable to collectors. These pristine examples are already worth more than face value, even without any errors. Now let's talk about the mint marks. In 1971, pennies were produced at 2 major mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark, and San Francisco with an S mint mark. The ones from San Francisco are particularly interesting because many were made as proof coins, sharply struck and carefully preserved for collectors. If you find a 1971 S-proof penny in excellent condition, that's a good start. But now comes the real treasure hunt: error coins. That's right. Minting mistakes are what transform regular coins into rare, high-value collectibles. In 1971, produced some real head-turners. One of the most famous and sought-after errors is the double die obverse, a rare mistake that happens when the coin is struck by a die that wasn't properly aligned, creating a doubled image. On a 1971 penny, this doubling can show up on the date, the word liberty, or the motto, "In God We Trust." If you ever notice that the letters look slightly shadowed or appear doubled, don't overlook it. That's a powerful indicator of a double die, and it can skyrocket the value of your coin. There are also off-center strikes, where the design is shifted or partially missing, making the coin look uneven or lopsided. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable it is. And then there's the struck-through error, where a foreign object, like a piece of cloth, grease, or another coin, gets in the way during the minting process and leaves a strange mark or indentation. These kinds of errors are one of a kind, and collectors are always eager to get their hands on unique pieces like these. Some 1971 pennies have even been discovered with planchet errors, where the coin is made on the wrong metal blank. This can happen when leftover blanks from another denomination are used by mistake, like a penny struck on a dime blank, making it thinner and lighter than usual. These are extremely rare and almost always fetch high prices when discovered. Let's not forget about repunched mint marks either. This occurs when the mint mark was struck more than once in slightly different positions, creating a shadow-like effect. It's subtle, but when found in combination with a high-grade coin, it adds serious collector value. Now here's the exciting part. While there are many pennies from 1971 still floating around, finding one with the right combination of condition and error is like discovering buried treasure. And the best part? They're still out there, hiding in change jars, stuck between couch cushions, or sitting untouched in old collections. You could walk past one every single day and never know it, unless you know what to look for. So, let's get to the big question. What is a rare 1971 penny actually worth? For most, just 1 cent. But for a select few, the value is staggering. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the highest recorded price for a rare and pristine 1971 1-cent coin, featuring a dramatic mint error and in flawless condition, was a jaw-dropping $73,000. Yes, you heard that right. $73,000 for a single penny. Imagine finding that in your coin jar. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. It's not just about money, it's about the stories behind the coins, the history they hold, and the thrill of discovery. Every coin has potential. Every old penny could be something more. Top 4, we're digging into a year that most people wouldn't think twice about. But believe me, this one is anything but ordinary. We're talking about the 1982 United States 1-cent coin. Yes, a penny. Sounds common, right? But let me tell you, the 1982 penny is not just any copper coin. It's one of the most fascinating, confusing, and valuable coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint. And if you know what to look for, this little coin could be worth thousands. In fact, one very special 1982 penny sold for a staggering amount of money, and I'll tell you exactly how much at the end of this video. So stay with me, because this is one penny you'll never look at the same way again. Let's go back to 1982. It was a year of transition, not just for America, but for the U.S. Mint itself. The cost of producing copper coins had skyrocketed, and making pennies from nearly pure copper, like the Mint had been doing for decades, was no longer practical. So halfway through the year, the U.S. Mint made a major change. They switched the composition of the penny from 95% copper and 5% zinc to a cheaper alternative, 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating. This one change created a fascinating situation. 2 different types of pennies were minted in the same year, and they looked identical, at least to the naked eye. That's right. In 1982, there were both copper pennies and zinc pennies released into circulation. But that's not all. The Mint also produced multiple variations of the date, with both large date and small date designs for both metal compositions. And to make it even more complicated, these were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, giving us a total of 7 different known varieties of 1982 pennies. Now here's where it gets exciting, because among those 7 types, one of them stands out as incredibly rare and nearly impossible to find, until one lucky person did. But before we talk about that, let's understand how to tell these coins apart. First, the weight. Copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams, while zinc pennies weigh 2.5 grams. You'll need a precise digital scale to tell the difference. Second, the date style. The small date versions have a more compact and delicate 2 and 8, while the large date has bolder, thicker numerals. Now, most of these variations are known and documented, and you can find them in circulated condition fairly easily. But there's one type that was never supposed to exist. A kind of minting unicorn. That's the 1982 D small date copper penny. Let me say that again. A Denver minted, small date, copper penny. According to U.S. Mint records, Denver only minted the small date on zinc planchets. Copper planchets were not meant to be used for small date coins at the Denver Mint. But somehow, possibly due to leftover copper blanks being fed into the presses, a few escaped into circulation. For years, collectors didn't even know this variety existed. But in 2016, a sharp-eyed coin enthusiast discovered the first verified example of a 1982 D small date copper penny. It weighed 3.11 grams, was authenticated by a top grading service, and instantly became one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever known. But that's not the only error or oddity to watch for from 1982. You should also be on the lookout for double die obverse, especially where the letters in Liberty or the date appear slightly doubled. These are rare, but they've been seen. Also, some 1982 pennies have die cracks, raised lines that result from worn-out dies, while others show off center strikes, which add significant collector interest. Now, here's the best part. These coins aren't buried in museums or locked away in bank vaults. They're still out there. In penny jars, in old collections, in boxes of change your grandparents saved from the 1980s. You might even have one right now and not know it. Oh, how do you find out if your 1982 penny is special? First, use a magnifying glass to study the date. See if it's a large date or small date. Then, weigh it with a precise digital scale. If you find a small date penny with a Denver Mint mark that weighs 3.11 grams, you may be holding one of the rarest coins in American numismatic history. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Just how much is one of these rare 1982 pennies worth? Well, a verified 1982 D small date copper penny in high-grade condition has sold at auction for a breathtaking $70,000. Yes, you heard that right. $70,000 for a penny. This is why we love coins. Because every now and then, a simple, forgotten cent turns into a story worth telling, and sometimes, a fortune worth holding. So the next time you come across a 1982 penny, don't toss it aside. Study it. Weigh it. Look at the date. Because you might just find a once-in-a-lifetime treasure hiding in plain sight. Top 5. We've got an absolutely amazing discovery for you. One that could change the way you look at your pocket change forever. We're diving into the world of the 2004 Texas State Quarter, a coin that many people might overlook, but it actually has the potential to be worth a small fortune. That's right, this quarter could be hiding a value you never expected. So sit tight and get ready, because we're going to take a deep dive into what makes this coin so special, why it's in high demand, and how you can identify if you have one of these rare gems. Let's start with a little background. The Texas State Quarter was released in 2004 as part of the United States Mint's 50 State Quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. The purpose of the program was to celebrate each state's unique history, culture, and symbols, and Texas certainly has no shortage of iconic imagery to draw from. When you look at this quarter, you'll notice it features some very significant symbols of the Lone Star State, specifically the outline of the state of Texas, the iconic Lone Star, and a steer head representing Texas' proud ranching heritage. This coin is truly a masterpiece of design, and it perfectly encapsulates the spirit of Texas, proud, bold, and full of history. But let's talk about why this quarter, despite being mass-produced, can still hold incredible value. While millions of these coins were struck, not all of them are created equal. As with any collectible, the key to the value of this coin lies in its rarity and condition. Now, let's dig into the specifics. Most of these Texas quarters were used in daily transactions, and as a result, many are in circulated condition. But here's the thing: collectors are after the pristine examples. The rarer the condition, the more valuable the coin. A Texas quarter that has been kept in uncirculated condition, without any scratches, marks, or wear and tear, could easily fetch a higher price. Coins like this are perfect for collectors who want to add something valuable to their collection, and they could be worth more than you might imagine. But that's not all. What makes this coin even more exciting for collectors is the possibility of mint errors. If you've been following the world of coin collecting for a while, you know that mint errors can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinarily valuable. And with the 2004 Texas State Quarter, there are a few specific errors that collectors are on the lookout for. The first and most sought-after error is the double die. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing a doubling effect in the design. You might notice this on the date or even the outline of the Texas State shape. A double die error can dramatically increase the value of the coin, so if you spot one, you're holding something truly special. Another minting error that makes this coin rare is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't aligned properly during the minting process, and as a result, the design shifts, creating a misaligned or off-center image. These off-center coins are incredibly sought after because they are distinctive and make for a standout addition to any collection. The more severe the off-center strike, the higher the value. There's also the possibility of a clipped planchet, where part of the blank coin is missing before the design is struck. These coins tend to have an uneven, ragged edge, and because they're highly unusual, they are extremely rare and valuable. The value of such a coin can be exponentially higher than a regular one, especially if the clip is large and noticeable. So, now you're probably wondering, what could this 2004 Texas state quarter actually be worth? Here's the exciting part. If you happen to have one of these quarters in mint condition, or even better, one with a mint error, you could be holding on to something that's worth $67,000. Yes, you heard that right, $67,000 for a single quarter. Imagine that. A coin that was once just a regular piece of pocket change could now be worth such a staggering amount. It's amazing, isn't it? This just goes to show the incredible potential that coins can have as they age and as collectors seek out the rarest and most unique examples. And what's even more exciting is that these kinds of discoveries happen all the time. Whether you're searching through your own spare change or looking at coins in circulation, you just never know when you'll come across something that could be worth thousands of dollars. So, the next time you come across a 2004 Texas state quarter, make sure to take a closer look. Check its condition, examine the details, and don't forget to look for any possible minting errors. You might just find that you've got a hidden treasure on your hands. It's these kinds of finds that make coin collecting such an exciting and rewarding hobby. And for those of you who are already passionate about collecting, this is the kind of discovery that truly fuels your love for the hobby. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed learning about the 2004 Texas state quarter, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss out on more amazing coin discoveries. We're constantly uncovering new and exciting finds, and we can't wait to share them with you. Until next time, happy collecting, and remember, the next great find might just be sitting in your pocket right now.